All right, folks, welcome to the Nino Show. I'm getting better. I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank God. That flu hit me, man. I was out for I think it's been about 8 days. So today I'm finally feeling better. I've had to stay away from my parents completely. They're elderly, so I couldn't go up there and see them at all the last 8 days, but I think I'm going to be able to by tomorrow. Folks, hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. Also, Venmo, 𝗬𝗏 𝗏1977. Yes, I read all the comments there. It's pretty funny. Some of you are pretty damn funny on Venmo. But yes, I always thank you for the contributions, and I really appreciate everyone sticking with me, you know. So I guess my impersonations are going to start coming back now that I'm feeling better. But this is the year. This is it. 2026 has got to be the year, and let me explain why. The midterms. It's that easy. The Democrats think they have it in the bag. And Juanito, if you've seen Juan on my show many times, saying how he's got to have enough runway so when he signs that executive order for voting, safe and secure elections, there has to be enough room on the runway for all the states to abide by the new rules and laws and coordinate and get everything together for the new voting system, in-person paper ballots. But I think what would be smarter, and you all give me your opinion on this, should Trump do it right out of the gate in the beginning of the year, or should he wait a while and foil their plans for them trying to cheat? I think they're going to be putting a lot of assets, and I think they're going to be activating a lot of assets and trying to finagle the bagel. And I think let them get ahead of themselves a little bit, and then sign that executive order and foil their plans completely, hence pushing them into a panic move that they will not be ready for. I don't know what you all think about this. You give me your opinion on that in the comments. But I think that this is going to be a very pivotal year. And it looks like, hey, we're going to go at it again with Iran. Their own people are overthrowing them. They have to declare war to save their asses. It's all coming to a head, and this has got to be the year. You had 𝗬𝗏 posting popcorn, Trump. I mean, everybody's just ready to see the show. And yes, I do have guests, different types of guests, like 𝗬𝗏. I'm going to have him on again in just a couple days on Nino'sCorner.tv. That say Trump may step down, the whole thing. Me personally, I don't see that happening. But then again, I have to share everyone's opinions. Everyone has free speech on my platform, and I lay it out for you all to play it out. Folks, when the lights go out on Amazon, please leave an honest review. Alex is back. So happy New Year's, Alex. Thank you for coming back. Also, the Mexican Mix on Amazon as well. Please leave an honest review. And folks, you better get your Noble Gold. If you're over 40 and planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you built may be smaller than you realize. Ask yourself, is your portfolio built on what's coming next? Probably not. As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you built becomes just as important as growing it. That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. They help investors reduce risk by adding gold and silver to their portfolios. I highly suggest you all get on this pronto, like yesterday. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com, and get started. Yeah, my pin doesn't work. Isn't that something? I hate this stuff. There it is. That pin works. Ringside with Nino is Wednesday, folks. Wednesday the 14th. 5 p.m. I'll be there Wednesday the 14th. The sale, they forgot to take the sale down, so the 50% up is still up right now. 50% off is still up right now on Nino'sCorner.tv, and it's going to end by, I've been told, afternoon today. So 50% off all annuals. The Sancho Claus deal is still rolling. It's still going, which it shouldn't be. My tech team forgot to take it down, so it's going to go on just a few more hours, and then it's cut. And then I'm not doing another sale for a very long time. So that will be ending today in a few hours. And that is on Nino'sCorner.tv, 50% off annuals. Get over there now and sign up. You get 50% off all new annuals. Also, folks, patriotwear.com. Patriotwear.com. Get yourself some gear. X is Nino Boxer. And then Nino'sCorner.tv. Great guest. 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗵, SGN on Craig Lund and 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁 talking about the Charlie Kirk sacrifice. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. You know what, folks? When you understand the Luciferians run all of this at the highest level, they're called, quote unquote, the Lucies. They run the whole show. It's not hard to believe that at the highest level, at the core of all this, was it a sacrifice? I think you can kill two birds with one stone. And I think at the very core of it, it may have well been. Also, the ghost is up there. Stuart Swerdlow's coming back on. He just got briefed again. He's coming on to brief my audience on what's getting ready to go down this year. He says it's going to be a big year. Big year. In fact, everyone I talk to says this is going to be the year for the books. Now, I don't see how it can't. It is a midterm year, and I think the executive order has to come this year. So, you know, the Democrats all think they're going to take this and impeach Trump. That's what they're planning to do. They really believe they're going to win the midterms and impeach Trump, but not if he signs that executive order. I don't see it happening. Also, Larry Ballard's coming on, and Louis Herms will be on talking about the psyops happening within the alternative media community. Obviously, if they're not following the three main issues, which is, you know, the executive order for voting, Tina Peters, COVID, you know, the three main issues. If they're still following all the he said, she said garbage, which I like to touch and go from time to time. I flirt with it a little bit. I flirt with it just a little bit, but I don't put all my eggs in one basket the way Candace Owens is, the way all the other, and maybe they just want likes and clicks, but there's some very important stuff that we should be talking about. The issues that we should be talking about is the executive order, the coming national emergency, where the country's going. Folks, if the podcasters aren't touching any of that and they're still doing the fist boom raw, yay, you know, hip hip hooray, the whole bullshit cheerleading of TPUSA, or if you're not with TPUSA, you're with Candace Owens. If you're still distracted by that, you're missing the ball completely. You're missing it all of it. We got to cover this, the important issues. And yes, every now and then I still talk about TPUSA and Candace. I'll do a pulse reading on that stuff, but I'm still sticking to my guns. And the main issues are Tina Peters and the coming executive order for Trump. All right, folks, you might want to turn it down or turn it up. Boy, this is still going to be a bad one. I promise you, it's still going to be bad. They're probably all bad to a lot of you, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's my MO now. And I like to get the morning going. Coming at you live from the apocalypse. Okay, folks, I'm going to be bringing out some really good guests this year. In-person podcasts. I'm going to continue with that. Also, some conspiracy type podcasts. I like to mix it up. I'm a mixed bag of nuts over here. Trump threatens Iran. Courts block National Guard in Chicago, LA, and Portland. Wow. Insurrection Act could be next. It looks to me like, folks, don't look at it like, oh, he's defeated. He doesn't know what to do with himself. No, they're pushing him into a direction that he is going to pleasantly, with a huge grin on his face, sign. And that's going to be the Insurrection Act. Now, Juan understands this in a different way, and he'll explain more on that. I'm going to have him on the show pretty soon. Not this show, but on another show on Nino'sCorner.tv to explain what's coming next. I think it's all going to tie in together. The national emergency, the executive order, and the troops deployment. As you know, Juan says the national emergency and election EO need to be done by early this year to give Trump and the states enough runway to properly prepare for the switch to paper ballots and in person. My thoughts on this is let them plot and plan to steal 2026 and then drop the hammer on them with the EO mid-year and foil all their plans. Now, I don't know how you all feel about that, but I say let them get ahead of themselves. and then foil their plans. This way, they have to regroup and start all over again, which will push them into the last second desperate move, which will be the Hail Mary. Trump truth posts about removing National Guard does not show retreat, but escalation, and the fact he will now have to use a different method for the troop deployment. I would keep a close eye on these particular cities coming into the beginning of the year and heading into midterms, as Trump is set to declare a national emergency and sign an EO for elections. Now, you know that we've always been on Nino's Corner.tv, I would say about, anywhere from 3 months, 6 months to a year ahead of the ball, maybe even more on a lot of the broadcasts. So, I would say that let's keep an eye on this EO that's supposed to be signed and a national emergency. But what would cause the national emergency? That's the $1 million question. Will events or an event take place first, or will Trump signing the EO trigger the event or events? Not sure what order it comes in, but the game is on, folks, and I'm going to tell you right now, it starts this year. It has to. Every time Trump, the DOJ, and the grand jury release an indictment, it will be fought back and hammered to a pulp with lawfare. Right here it says, we are removing here's the Trump truth post. We are removing the National Guard from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, despite the fact that crime has been greatly reduced by having these great patriots in those cities, and only by the fact Portland, Los Angeles, Chicago were gone if it weren't for the federal government stepping in. We will come back perhaps in a much different and stronger form. Let me read that again. We will come back. Let me say that one more time. We will come back, perhaps in a much different and stronger form when crime begins to soar again. Only a question of time. It is hard to believe that these Democrat mayors and governors, all of whom are greatly incompetent, would want us to leave, especially considering the great progress that has been made. Question mark, question mark, question mark. President DJT. Folks, that says it all right there. It's going to come back in a different form, in a different manner. So as they release indictment after indictment, and I'm sure Obama is going to get his indictment, I'm pretty damn sure it happens this year, because guess what, folks? Even with safe and secure elections in the midterms, Trump has still got to perform. He's still got to deliver on his promises. It has to happen this year. And it's not like I have any crazy intel on this is what's going to happen this year. No, nobody's psychic. None of my guests are psychic. This is all common sense and instincts. And yes, I talk to people. You know who I talk to. My guests are transparent on my show. You know who they are. So I get fed bits and pieces here and there. And I got to tell you, folks, it all lines up for the same thing. This year, it's got to go down. It's got to go down. And it will go military. But what makes it go that direction? That's the $1 million question. The EO, when does Trump sign, or when does Trump declare a national emergency? That's a $1 million question. So Trump now, and like I said, I just read that Trump Truth Social post. We are removing the National Guard from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, despite the fact that crime has been greatly reduced by having these patriots in those cities. That's done now. That's over. And I promise you, I'm betting on this. They'll be back this year. So in an article, it says Trump is humiliated. He's humiliated. Trump humiliated as courts force National Guard retreat from Chicago, LA, and Portland. President Trump announced that National Guard troops will be removed from 3 major Democrat-led cities, ending months of legal battles with state officials. On New Year's Eve, President Donald Trump declared that his administration would be withdrawing National Guard troops from multiple Democrat-controlled cities he's targeted for federal law enforcement intervention for months. We are removing the National Guard from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, despite the fact that crime has been greatly reduced by having these great patriots in those cities, and only by that fact, the president posted on Truth Social on Wednesday. Trump claimed that the cities were gone if it weren't for the federal government stepping in. He suggested that the possibility of troops returning to the cities down the line, perhaps in a different and stronger form, when crime begins to soar again. Folks, crime is going to soar again. We know they're plotting. We know they're planning. We know they're getting ready to strike. This is just common sense. And with that being said, New York Mayor, I can't even believe I'm saying this, New York Mayor 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹 vows to enact democratic socialist agenda. Say goodbye to New York, folks. It's done. It's over. For now. Because New York City's mayor on Thursday, by the way. Think about that just for a second. It's the first in any state that's ever happened. I think this is the first state in history in the United States. I know it is for New York, but I don't think this has happened anywhere in any other state. I could be wrong. If you want to put it in the comments, go right ahead. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹, a member of the party's left-wing Democratic Socialist faction, was elected last November in a prominent victory that could this year's midterm elections that will determine control of the U.S. Congress. They are really planning ahead here, folks. They're really getting ready to make a big move. Some Democrats have embraced his style, while Republicans portray him as a foil of the national political stage. The 34-year-old, he's 34 years old, campaigned heavily on cost of living issues and was sharply critical of Republican President Donald Trump, whose approval rating has fallen over the past year amid economic concerns. Now, folks, stay with me to the very end of this podcast because I have an important what the fuck news, because there's a psychic, right, that's been giving his predictions every year who's been over the target every year. And I'm going to read his predictions on Trump, on what's going to happen in 2026. So stay with me on this. So as 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹 was getting sworn in, the crowd was chanting, "Tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich." The program for 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹's inauguration included remarks by U.S. Senator Bernie the Bum Sanders and U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's so progressive, who's so progressive. She would bring in a guy who believes Sharia law. I mean, this is just insanity. These people are so ass backwards. It's insane. At the vanguard of the Democratic Party's liberal wing, Sanders, whom 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹 calls his inspiration. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗹 calls him his inspiration, defended 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹's agenda, making sure that people can live in affordable housing is not radical, Sanders says. It is the right and decent thing to do. Didn't this guy not have a job until he was like 45? Every time I see Bernie Sanders, it's like he just rolled off the fucking couch. The crowd of several thousand cheered loudly when Sanders called on America's millionaires and billionaires to pay more in taxes, breaking into a chant of "tax the rich." Folks, I'm telling you right now, mark this, what I'm about to say, timestamp it, whatever you want to do. This guy will run for president. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹 will run for president. They're grooming him and priming him up right now. Look at all the press he has. That's all you need. This guy is going to run for president post-Trump, and I bet you it'll be in 2032. I don't think 2028. I could be wrong, but I think shortly after that, you better watch this guy, folks. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. We all see him. Right? But I'm telling you, folks, he's going to be a major, major problem in the years to come, months and years to come. Trump and top Iranian officials exchanged threats over protests rolling Iran. Dubai, United Emirates, U.S. President Donald Trump and top Iranian officials exchanged dueling threats Friday as widening protests swept across parts of the Islamic Republic, further escalating tensions between the countries after America bombed Iranian nuclear sites in June. Remember I said, folks, I said this, you've heard Ramirez, Oscar Ramirez, on my program. He said, folks, they're not stopping. All the immigrants are still coming. They're just stopping in the border towns. They're stopping in Tijuana. They're stopping right there on the border. I know this. I'm in El Paso. All of them are still coming. They're just being held back for a major push in 2028. They all believe once Trump's out, they're going to have their Manchurian candidate, whoever it is, either a rhino or a Democrat in office so they can push forward with Biden 2.0. I'm telling you, folks, this is happening. It's real. I talk to people on the border all the time. They're going to wait this out and make sure Trump is done, and then they're going to come in full fucking force. I'm just telling you what I know. At least 7 people have been killed so far in violence surrounding the demonstrations, which were sparked in part by the collapse of Iran's rial currency, but have increasingly seen crowds chanting anti-government slogans. The protests now in their 6th day have become the biggest in Iran since 2022, when the death of a 22-year-old 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 in police custody triggered nationwide demonstrations. However, the demonstrations have yet to be countrywide and have not been as intense as those surrounding the death of 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, who detained over not wearing her hijab or headscarf to the liking of authorities. At least 6 people reported killed during widening protests in Iran sparked by ailing economies. So banks are failing right now in Iran. And it's a good indicator of the ripple effect of what's going to happen everywhere else, folks. That is why silver is going to the moon right now. And that's why you should be calling Noble Gold like yesterday. Get on Noble Gold and get busy getting silver and gold, folks. That's where all this is going. I told you. Juan specifically came to El Paso and gave me a safe and said, you better start storing up. I asked him about crypto and all that. He goes, don't worry, do that. No. Gold and silver is what you need. So widening demonstrations sparked by Iran's alien economy is spreading Thursday into the Islamic Republic's rural provinces, with at least 6 people being killed in the first fatalities reported among security forces and protesters, authorities said. So now, with all of this spiraling out of control, Iran needs a war. They threaten America. They say, you know what? Death to America, Israel, and Europe. And of course, Trump responds with, if Iran shots and violently, if Iran shots, I think he meant to put shoots. If Iran shoots and violently kills. So sometimes you got to think, he does this on purpose, you think, folks, when he misspells stuff. If Iran shots and, all right. So anyway, that kind of threw me off right there. If Iran, let's just say it the way it's supposed to be said, if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. Why do we need to go to the rescue of these other countries? We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So here's our chance to successfully oust this regime. That's what I see here. And I think we're going to take full advantage of this. Because, folks, remember, the globalists have a plan for World War III. And I'm sure you heard about this. You heard this on the podcast that I did with Juanito, Saving Israel for Last. I named it that on ninoscorner.tv. This has to be neutralized. The Iran threat absolutely does have to be neutralized. And it looks like, to me, this is how we're going to do it. So you can expect more strikes to hit Iran probably as early as January, February. My guess. Iran grinds to a standstill as protesters take to the streets. Crowds chant death to Khamenei. I think that's it. Well, Alex, how do you say that? Khamenei?
Yeah. Khamenei, I think. Yeah.
Is it Khamenei? Is it Khamenei?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, my voice is going quick. Iran grinds to a standstill Wednesday as business, universities, and government offices closed under a government-ordered shutdown amid protests caused by a growing political and economic crisis. Do you all like that Alex jumps on every now and then and corrects my reading? It's great, right? Obviously, I'm very rough around the edges and I'm not very polished. But hey, yo, I'm a boxer reading the news. Hey, yo, all right. Video footage circulating online shared by the People's Organization of Iran, MEK, shows intense clashes between protesters and security forces in cities, including 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁𝗏 and Tehran. In the videos, protesters chant anti-regime slogans and confront security forces in crowded streets. Folks, they don't want this regime there any more than anybody else does. Could you imagine living in Iran? Iran, first of all, I have some Iranian friends. They're great people, the greatest people I know. Very prideful, very proud people. They hate their fucking government. They hate it. All of them do. All my friends are very, very good friends of mine that I grew up with are Iranian. Dude, they're all for America going in there and ousting this regime, by the way. Just letting you know. So we will see more problems with Iran, probably more bombings, more strikes. We got Venezuelan strikes on the way. More of that's going to be coming, maybe more in Nigeria. But remember, folks, it's important to remember, these aren't really wars. I wouldn't tally this up as a war. These are strikes. War would be if we're sending our troops into that country and declaring war on that country and trying to overtake that country. That's not what's happening here. We are simply striking these countries. In other words, they're dead, we're not. That's what's happening. And now with the sophisticated technology, folks, I don't even see why we have to send troops anywhere anymore. We can send drones. All right. How am I doing, folks? Am I doing okay with the voice here? I think I'm a little better today than I was yesterday and the day before. I think I'm getting, incrementally better. But it's tough. I still bring it to you every day. So China signals it won't give an inch to the U.S. in Latin America. Now, this could be a problem. I'm going to bring Mike Fury back on again to give his take on this. China intends to keep playing in the U.S. backyard of Latin America. I've always said, folks, it's all about that. China's there, and that's how the 2020 UN, you know what happened with the steel, the whole thing. China, China, China. They are there. They have a foothold in our backyard, and that's why it's so important. There's many reasons why we're in Venezuela. Well, number one, Smartmatic. Number two, well, number one is China. Two, then that caused Smartmatic. Three is the oils, minerals. Four, I would say drugs is probably number four. The Trump administration took veiled swipes at China in its national security strategy with the vow to restore American preeminence in the Western Hemisphere and deny non-hemispheric competitors. Less than a week after the release of the U.S. strategy in December, Beijing issued a little notice policy paper on Latin America and the Caribbean that geopolitical analysis say foreshadow more U.S.-China jostling for regional influence. In other words, China's not going anywhere, and they're not intimidated. China has always stood in solidarity with, through thick and thin, with the global South, including Latin America and the Caribbean. This is their space. They have been there for the last 3 to 4 decades, folks. China has always stood in good solidarity through thick and thin with the global South, including Latin America and the Caribbean, and said the 6,700-word policy paper, China's first on the region in almost a decade. The paper cites how a significant shift is taking place in the international balance of power. Terminology Chinese leader Xi Jinping uses to allege that the era of U.S. global supremacy is over. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's over. China shadows each major challenge President Trump has taken on Latin America, from degrading the Venezuelan regime to reasserting American dominance at the Panama Canal. It is a counterpoint, albeit a moderate one, on what Beijing considers encirclement of its territory by the U.S. system of military alliances throughout Asia. Great power competition in the region has only just begun. So, folks, you've heard from my guests many times. We are going to go to war kinetically. They all say the same thing. We are in a trajectory to go to war with China at some point. In fact, the whole world has a problem with China. So this is by no means going to be over in the Trump administration or after that. So you all decide on that, folks. Breaking news. I don't know if you all saw this for New Year's. A fire ripped through a ski resort bar in Switzerland where people were celebrating New Year's Eve. Dozens of people have died and around 115 are injured. Follow the latest updates below. So, local tourists, listen to this, folks. Locals and tourists gathered quietly around the police cordon in 値, Montana. Among them, people who had witnessed the events of the night before when New Year's celebrations suddenly turned into a nightmare. Leon Christine, who works in 値, Montana, was one of the first to the scene and says he tried to help as many people as possible administering first aid. It was very chaotic and very sad. Everywhere there were young people who needed help. Some had their clothes burned off. It was very traumatizing. Samuel Rapp, who also witnessed the aftermath, tells me, I saw a lot of people trying to escape and screaming. It was horrible. Many were teenagers. Oh, man. The 𝗬𝗂𝗃𝗁 Club being popular with young people, he says. Swiss mountain towns and villages take New Year's Eve celebrations very seriously. People come from all over the world to experience the party atmosphere. Town squares are often the focus at midnight, and the 値, Montana, there were DJs and fireworks. People often bring their own fireworks and firecrackers, setting them off outside among the crowds, and then a fire took a blaze, and that was game over. I'll never forget, it was 26 years ago, New Year's, that I was in Rome with my friends, and we brought in the New Year on the Spanish Steps, you know, the Jubilee, the whole thing was amazing. It was me, Nick Bomback, Joel Carpenter, and my buddy Kevin. And we were all on the Spanish Steps, New Year's, folks. It was amazing. I'll never forget that. And I just remember people were throwing quarter sticks of dynamite up in the air. And then we were like, dude, now that this is popping off like this, let's get the hell out of here. Throwing quarter sticks of dynamite up in the air. They were blowing up, or some would fall to the ground and hit the people, causing people to fall and everywhere. I mean, ambulances were trying to get through the crowds. People were shaking the ambulances. So you'd see the ambulances trying to get through to help people, and it'd be shaking back and forth. People would be moving. It was insane. I got complete claustrophobia. I got sick to my stomach. I was like, dude, we got to get the hell out of here. We ran. We escaped. We got out of that mess. It was insanity. Insanity. Europeans, let me tell you, they're fucking crazy. Crazy. The only thing crazier than Europeans to me, Australians. I think Australians are probably take the cake. All right, citizenship of Somali fraudsters may be revoked. Two federal agencies are absolutely taking steps toward revoking the citizenship of Somalis who have been convicted of fraud, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on December 31st. Thanks to Nick Shirley, right? Nick Shirley went out there. You know, Nick Shirley right now is getting tons of death threats. He's getting a lot of death threats right now. The Homeland Security and Justice Department are pursuing the type of action Leavitt told Fox and Friends. She was reacting to a Rep. Tom Emmer's December 29th call for denaturalization and deportation of every Somali engaged in fraud in Minnesota. At what point, and I'm just going to ask this question, at what point, now that it's obvious and it's proven, at what point do we arrest Tim Walz and get him out of there? Like all these people. When does this happen? Like, how much more of this can we take? Now I've been told, well, trust the operation. Okay, I think we've all been trusting it. We're at this point now. At what fucking point do we drop the hammer and say, enough's enough, let's fucking do this? I mean, it's obvious. It's been aired out. I think it's got like over 200 million views of what Nick Shirley showed. The guy became a sensation overnight. And this guy is not arrested. I mean, you don't have feds busting in right now and taking this guy out of there. How is this even, how is nothing happening? Can you all answer that for me? Because I'm dumbfounded by this. I mean, we have proof. Nick Shirley showed proof, and nothing's happening. Nothing. I don't know. San Francisco mayor. See, all these mayors are working in tandem with each other. Mamdani, the governor, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, all of them are working together for the same agenda. San Francisco mayor sneaks through reparations bill just before Christmas that could give each black resident $5 million. $5 million. The mayor of San Francisco discreetly approved a bill to create a fund that may eventually grant each of the city's eligible black residents $5 million each in reparations. Mayor Daniel Lurie quietly signed the incredibly divisive reparations bill just 2 days before Christmas. The ordinance see, that's when everyone takes Christmas off. That's when they go on vacation. The ordinance establishes a reparations fund as recommended by the city's African American Reparations Advisory Committee in its 2023 report. The legislation merely establishes the fund, but does not allocate any money to it, setting up the framework for any future contributions, whether they be through the city or privately donated. There it is, folks. Thousands of black Californians could get $5 million reparations under new. I bet you every black person I know better be moving over there. It's a lot of money. Shit. If I was a brother, I'd be over there now, motherfucker. Oh boy, my voice is going, folks. My voice is going fast. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. How's everybody doing today? We got any super chats, Alex? Do we have any super chats? Kelly Paneski, thank you so much. Super sticker, thank you. Ernest Spencer, you know, your Santa Claus is wearing the wrong hat. It should be a sombrero, the furry white fur. Oh, with furry white. You know what? Maybe if I can get one of those, I'll wear it for next year, all right? I'll get it for next year. Let's see. Mary, eyes of an angel, I pray to Jesus, you avoid psychics' predictions against Jesus. Pray answers, please. I don't go to psychics. I don't go to psychics. Last time I went to a psychic was an accident, and that was in 2013 or something like that. I don't even know how I walked in there. I don't even know how that happened. I don't go to psychics. Blue Champ, stay focused on Jesus. Don't let demons in. I'm not letting any demons in. But I'm going to read that article shortly about what the psychic predicted, but it's not like I'm sitting with them reading tarot cards or some shit. French government defends granting citizenship to George and Amal Clooney. So, okay, I did a short video on this. George Clooney is now moving to France. Perfect timing with the Epstein drops and the year of 2026 when the hammer is supposed to be dropped on everybody. I guess we'll see. I mean, that's a lot to pick up a move out of America and go to France, don't you think, folks? Actor George Clooney and his wife, Errol Clooney, were granted French citizenship because they contribute through their distinguished actions to France's international influence and cultural outreach, the French government said Wednesday, defending their naturalization that was questioned by a junior French minister. The naturalizations of the Kentucky-born star of the Ocean series of heist movies, his wife and human rights lawyer Amal Clooney, and their twins, Ella and Alexander, were announced last weekend in the Journal office, where French government decrees are published. I don't know, a lot of celebrities are leaving, huh? A lot of celebrities are taking off. They're getting the hell out of Dodge. I heard a lot of celebrities are beginning to feel the heat. And with this, I think it's 1 million to 5 million new Epstein drops. What is it, Alex? Do you know what it is? I think the files now is like 5 million new documents. Can you look that up, Alex? What is it, folks? Put it in the comments. I think it's up to 5 million. And if that's the case, fucking everybody's going to be on there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the most recent number. Yeah,
It's got to be. I think I've heard 5 million. It's in the millions, right?
Millions. Yeah,
So,
it's up. Yeah.
So obviously, everybody's going to be on this. They're going to be implicated. So what's that going to do for their careers? How are people going to treat them here in America? And I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of defamation lawsuits coming from these people. It's going to get messy. So yeah, people are avoiding the storm. People are getting the hell out of here. Tidal wave of hell coming for all these celebrities this year. I think it's going to hit this year. So we'll see. And when I read the psychic predictions, you're all going to love this shit. George Clooney responds to Donald Trump's New Year's Eve insults, says he agrees we have to take America back and make it great again, and we'll start that in November. Uh-oh, fighting words. Updated with George Clooney's comment, with just a few hours left in 2025, Donald Trump went after George Clooney and his new friend Citizenship, apparently in response to a recent interview in which the actor recalled that the president was a big goofball before he entered politics. Eesh, ouch. Trump posted on Truth Social on Wednesday, good news. George and Amal Clooney, two of the worst political prognosticators of all time, have officially become citizens of France, which is, sadly, in the midst of a major crime problem because of their absolutely horrendous handling of immigration, much like we had under Sleepy Joe Biden. Remember when Clooney, after the now infamous debate, dumped Joe during a fundraiser only to go onto the side of another stellar candidate, 𝗬𝗃𝗂𝗁, 𝗬𝗃𝗁, that's funny, who is now fighting it out with the worst governor of the country, including Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom, for who is going to lead the Democrats into their future defeat. Clooney got more publicity for politics than he did for his very few and totally mediocre movies. He wasn't a movie star at all. He was just an average guy who complained constantly about the common sense in politics. Make America great again. The New York Times and other outlets reported this week that France had granted citizenship to the Clooneys and their children. The actor, born in Kentucky, also has citizenship in the United States. In a statement, Clooney responded to Trump's post saying, I totally agree with the current president. We have to make America great again. We'll start in November. Eesh. But if Trump signs this executive order, which I'll tell you, folks, I don't think you're hearing this anywhere else except my podcast and a few others in this niche deep state wargaming type of podcast. I don't think you're hearing it anywhere else. No mainstream podcasters are going to be covering this. No way. So you're probably only hearing it here and a few others that I've had on my show, and they have their own shows or whatever. But we're ahead of the ball. And like I said, once this executive order comes out, they're all going to be eating their words, Clooney included. They're done. It's over for them. Folks, I have no doubt in my mind, the Democratic Party will be completely dismantled close to around midterms and going into 2028. Here's the problem I see coming. And I'm going to tell you this right now. A rhino. Whoever's going to replace Trump, whether it's J.D. Vance or someone else that swiggles right in there that we don't see coming, the division with TPUSA, Candace Owens, and all the podcasters, this is a major fucking psyop. Don't fall for it. They're dividing the right the way they did the left and right. Now they're dividing the right. They're going to fracture the right, and they're doing that right now. And there's a lot of podcasters getting paid off. Traitors to the country, in my opinion. Complete traitors. Neuralink plans high-volume brain implant production by 2026. Well. I mean, is this the mark of the beast, a brain implant? I don't know how you all feel about this. I kind of look at it like, oh, boy. I don't know. What if you're paralyzed and it can make you walk again? I don't know. This is a big gray area right here. Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink will start high volume production of brain computer interface devices and move to an entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026 this year. Musk said in a post on the social media platform X on Wednesday, Neuralink did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The implant is designed to help people with conditions such as spinal cord injury. The first patient has used it to play video games, browse the internet, post on social media, and move a cursor on his laptop. Didn't Stephen Hawking used to do that shit? Didn't he have something like that? The company began human trials on its brain implant in 2024 after addressing safety concerns raised by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which had initially rejected its application in 2022. I don't know how I feel about this. Remember, I read an article about Russia using pigeons with mind control devices in their brains, chips, that they're able to control and move the pigeon anywhere they want, fly the pigeon anywhere they need, and use the pigeon to drop messages, spying, whatever. I don't know, folks. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's unnatural to have a chip in your brain. There it is. Yeah, there it is. There's the home pigeons with flying devices and chips in their brains. All right, folks, I got some great what the fuck news for you. This is pretty interesting. I want to know what you all think about this. So the same psychic who predicted COVID years ago issues terrifying predictions for 2026. All right, let's see what he's got to say. A psychic who claims to have predicted the coronavirus pandemic has released his forecast for 2026. While we're all likely to be busy celebrating the new year tonight, whether that be at parties, in front of the TV, or at a networking event with some of the world's richest people, it seems as we won't be celebrating it for long, according to this psychic, Nicholas Azula. They say here he's 95% correct with all his prophecies. We'll see. Let's see. So, some of you may even stay up to watch the Stranger Things finale in the early hours of the morning tomorrow, but that might not even be the strangest part of 2026 if Azula gets even a few of his predictions on the money. The hypnotherapist discovered his supernatural gifts when he was just 17 years old after seeing images of his past lives, which were seemingly all pretty remarkable. He said, as a teenager, I entered a deep trance state, and began to see vivid flashes, images of myself as an Egyptian queen. I don't know about that. He may be a queen now. A nun in the Himalayas, he's always a chick, huh? A nun in the Himalayas and a seamstress in China. A witch doctor in Africa, even a lion. In that moment, I had an overwhelming sense. I mean, how much of this is just fucking imagination? I had an overwhelming sense that I had lived many lives before the gathered countless experiences. That experience led to deep realization that death is not the end, that there is nothing to fear, and that our souls are eternal, returning in different forms to continue learning and experiencing life. It was surreal, peaceful, and utterly life-changing. After claiming to call the COVID pandemic, he's now made it clear that we can expect a lot of twists and turns in 2026, including Britain's hottest summer on record, a strong year for reform in UK, and even Wales winning the Six Nations, which remarkably is probably least likely of those three scenarios. Azula reckons that he had particularly a good couple of years after foreseeing Donald Trump's election victory, so he also predicted Donald Trump's election victory both times. A rise of artificial intelligence, relationship issues with Katy Perry, although she's managed to find a new Belle and Justin Trudeau. After sensing that the earth was moving beneath him and witnessing a world map focused on Greece, Turkey, and Pacific and Asia, he expects some strong, listen to this, some strong volcanic activity. Volcanic seismic activity in those areas, in Greece, Turkey, and the Pacific and Asia. strong volcanic activity. Now, you've heard 𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 say that as well. 𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 says, he's a prophetic. He also anticipates Hollywood being hit with lots of defamation cases, following a vision where he spotted the word defamation materializing near the Hollywood sign. Well, he also predicts the AI-generated movies might become more regular, which sadly I think most of us would have predicted ourselves. It isn't a psychic prediction without some aliens, and 𝗬𝗏𝗃 certainly expects them to show up in the year 2026. So he's expecting the alien card to be played in 2026. That would kind of match up with the midterms, right? I bet you. Even if the legendary 𝗵𝗶𝗱𝗶 was wrong about her suggestion that they'd make themselves known to humanity in 2025, well, maybe not, because Third Eye Atlas was 2025. He also warns of a mysterious illness triggering symptoms resembling an aneurysm. While he claims to have, well, I'll tell you what that is. Anybody who got this? Yeah, even one of these? Yeah. Probably not going to be such a good year for you. So he also warns of mysterious illness triggering symptoms resembling an aneurysm, while he claims to have seen a vision of Trump falling from a plane. Trump falling from a plane, which could represent his downfall. While Nigel Farage was spotted with jubilant supporters in another vision. Nigel Farage. He also predicted another public controversy for Harry and Meghan, although that's another which most could have guessed. So, Nigel Farage with jubilant supporters and Trump falling from a plane. What's your all thoughts on this? Trump falling from a plane. What do you all think that means? What do you all think? Does it mean anything? Probably means nothing, but maybe falling from grace, maybe stepping down, dropping bombs. I don't know. What's your all thoughts on that? What do you think that could mean? Trump falling from a plane. Alex, what do you think that means?
Not much. Just another random
falling from grace, plane falling out of the sky. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he's targeted, man.
I know, right?
I think I don't know if you've seen Stuart Swarlow on my show, but he says, that Trump's going to step down and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are going to step in for him. And it's going to be the same operation just continued for another 12 years. That's believable, right? Like, I could see that happening. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that happens? Or do you think Trump stays in all the way?
I think he stays in all the way. Yeah, because they could still execute that. I mean, doesn't strike me as a benefit to him stepping down. It would be so unprecedented that it would shake things up and cause so much like uncertainty and a risk. It would increase risk a lot, and they're trying to minimize risk, in these decisions that they're doing. So that's kind of my take on it. I
think we both agree, though. He has to arrest people this year. That has to happen. He has to sign that executive order, right? He's got to do those two things. National emergency. We're probably going to see the military in the streets this year. I don't see how this year's not explosive. Do you agree?
Yeah. And I mean, this Nick Shirley video, I think this is really what needs to happen. Like what Nick Shirley's doing and just the exposing it. It's not really the government. Like we would love, I think the federal government needs to come in and do something about this fraud, but really what actually needs to happen is that the people need to rise up and get mad enough about it and go out in the streets, go up to these people and confront them, challenge them. Like, what are you doing here? Like, we need to be questioning these people in the streets.
More citizen journalists, right? Independent, because the news not doing it. The news is just giving you a narrative. It's lying to you.
Yep.
And, I find it very peculiar also now that Candace Owens is asking all these questions and Alex Jones is attacking her, like Tim Pool's attacking, everyone's attacking everybody. And now all of a sudden they're going to play the Tyler Robinson court. They're going to show it on television. Like they want to really convince people that this guy was the guy, right? Like that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. MSN's a complete lie. All of it.
Yeah, no. And it's kind of like, this is like the revealing process, right? Isn't that what apocalypse means?
Yeah, I think apocalypse does mean that. Show the definition on here. Yeah. I think apocalypse does mean the revealing. We're like revelations. But I still feel like there's so much that needs to be done, and we have to rip the Band-Aid off this year. We cannot wait. We can't wait anymore. I mean, I'm just saying it right now. I mean, it's just the way it is. We cannot wait anymore. The Band-Aid has got to be ripped off. And in order to win the midterms, if we are going to have a fair election, you've got to arrest people and really set the precedent right now on what the rest 27 and 28 is going to look like.
I know. I mean, it risks, like, yeah, some action needs to be taken, especially this year. Like, otherwise, Donald Trump's going to be the guy that could have gotten stuff done and chose not to. And that can't happen.
Or bow down to Israel. Like, that's what it's looking like right now for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they say saving Israel for last, or are we serving Israel last? I mean, this is the question. And then, folks, this is the shit I try to ask on Nino'sCorner.tv. I still try to ask these questions. I mean, you may not agree with me, like really putting the pinch on certain people, but I'm sorry, I'm as frustrated as everyone here. And I want to know the questions. I want to know the answers too.
Agreed, man.
And yeah, it is what it is. Happy New Year. I made my 1 year sober. Wow.
Congrats, Kelly Ray.
That's all, Kelly Ray. Thank you. That's awesome. Congrats. I'm so glad that some of you are getting sober. It was kind of hard for me this year. Like I knew a lot of I kind of called a few of my friends, and they're all out getting drunk, and some of my old friends that I haven't talked to, and they're all in New Year's drinking. And I thought that, that thought always comes into your head, like, man, maybe I can go and have one whiskey, one beer, a couple beers, and just leave. It's just not the way it is for someone like me.
Yeah.
Because then I got to get going. I start firing it up, and I got to get going. I got to keep going.
Yeah, that was me too. Yeah, I could. Yeah, you can't turn it off once it starts going. Yeah.
Are you completely sober?
Yeah, well, off the sauce for sure. I'm not drink. I stopped drinking. Yeah, it's been about 5.5 years now.
Wow, dude, I didn't even know that. I should have asked you.
Yeah, I kind of stopped when we started doing the Dark to Light show, the first show.
Really,
you had stopped, and I was kind of like reaching that. It was kind of that pivotal moment for me too in my life, and I was like, I can't keep doing this shit. Like,
there's nothing worse than a fucking hangover, dude. Like waking up, you go drink to escape your problems, and then the next day they're magnified by 1,000. All your problems.
I actually went. Me and a friend of mine, we started tallying up the number of days that we spent in the last 15 years just miserably hungover, and like it was like over a year of time of just being like sick and hungover and shitty. I'm like, dude, like I can't live this.
Yeah, and now we're at the age, dude, where we'll start getting sick.
Yeah,
I had my sister died of cirrhosis at 44, bro. Like, I'm 48, so like, I don't have time to play with. Like it's like I don't even know what I've done to my body thus far. Like that's why I'm doing the red light therapy. I'm doing methylene blue. I'm taking all my supplements. I'm trying to like buy some time.
Yeah,
because I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. Like, dude, I messed up my body so bad for so long. It's like I'm just trying to play catch up now.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Well,
we got two more little super chats here real quick. This.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones and his daughter?
Not Tommy Lee Jones, though. I just checked in. It's just his daughter. Rest in peace to her. That's tragic, but
that's crazy. Yeah. His daughter died. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you got to wonder, is that like a warning to him, especially with all this shit that's dropping now?
That's immediately what I think of, especially after the interviews with Craig and what he's shared about the 𝗬cies and how they operate.
Oh, yeah, big time. Hit the like button for David, people. Thank you so much. What does that say?
𝗦𝗫𝗃𝗃.
I don't know. Thank you.
Like that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate anybody who shares these videos and likes them. You're helping me help you. I appreciate it, folks. I've been a one-man show. Well, not really anymore. I got Alex now, but for the most part, I've been doing this for the last 6 years on my own, and it's been tough. But Alex has joined the team, and we're trying to grow, and it takes people like all of you to help us grow, folks. If you appreciate what I do, a heavyweight boxer reading the news, which you can tell, I try to be as transparent as possible. And I really want to put some good intentions out there for the New Year's for all of us. I hope all of our dreams come true. I hope all of you stick to your New Year's resolutions. My New Year's resolution, one of my biggest resolutions, is going to be boundaries. Have stronger boundaries with people. I need, toxic people I got to stay away from, man.
Amen, man. Well, Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year, folks. We're out of here. Thanks, Alex. And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the black sheep of broadcasting, folks.